Hello, my darlings. You are so very, very welcome. This is the Masterclass, Write and Publish Your Book Quickly. I'm going to be sharing my 7 steps to write your book easily, 7 easy steps. So I'm just thrilled. This is the first time doing this. So congratulations to me for showing up and having the courage to do this, to present this. I literally finished putting together the slides 10 minutes before we hopped on. Thank you, everybody who's coming here just to support me. This is as if you've been on my email list or reading some of my blogs or comments at the moment or posts, you'll know that this is something brand new that I'm embarking. It's not something that's new in my life, but it's something brand new that I'm coming out into the world, and I'm, presenting this, how to write a book. So it's completely new for me. Usually it's angel coaching, it's as a spiritual business mentor. So congratulations to everybody for just showing up, and I really appreciate your support. 90% is just showing up. Now, this is a quote from my book that's coming out in October. And it's by the end of this book mastery journey, you'll have the tools, the knowledge, the confidence to write and publish your book with lightning speed. Remember, this is your chance to share your voice, make a difference, and leave a lasting impact. So what are you waiting for? Let's dive into the world of book mastery together and make your publishing dreams a reality. So while I can't promise that at the end of this, definitely not at the end of this masterclass, you'll have a published book. Of course you won't. But what I'm hoping is that you will feel inspired and motivated and have confidence and feel like I can fucking do that too. Of course I can do that too. So I'm hoping, that's my aim, is that by the end of this, every single one of you has this feeling, yes, I could write a book. So, so this is what we're going to cover. Introduction, and we're going to set our intention. But first, before I go into the 7 steps, I'm going to talk about some powerful mindset shifts that I think are pivotal and make everything else easy. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to jump into the 7 steps for author success. You're going to share with me your biggest ahas or takeaway, and then I'm going to give you the what's next option. So let me see. Oh, what you'll need: notebook if you want, Google Doc opened, take notes. This is really important. Make sure that you have some time after. So we're going to be here for about 90 minutes. I'm hoping that at the end I can do some Q&A. So can't see my timer here, so I'll be asking you to tell me what time it is at different stages during the presentation, but to keep me on track. But I'm aiming for 90 minutes of pure, chunky, amazing content. So, but it's really, really important that I would say, if you can't do it straight afterwards, that you block out an hour today, if you can, and just sit down and write. Either manually or do it in a Google Doc or something like that. Just get your thoughts down on paper, because we are going to have some, it's going to be practical, healing, inspirational, motivating. It's a really special time for you, especially if you're have a dream to be an author. But also watch out for your angel messages, intuitive downloads, guidance, new book ideas. So as I say something or a slide comes along, it might spark something in you. And I want you to get those notes ASAP onto a piece of paper, into a notebook, or in a Google Doc or something. So the scariest moment is always just before you start. This is Stephen effing King saying this. So, I love his work. I read his work for all of his books when I was younger, in my 20s. And it's just, that is it. The scariest moment is just before you start something new. So let us dig in, my darlings. So this is a little bit about me. I'm an author of 3 publications, Angels Are With You, which is this book there. I'm also the author of this Oracle card deck, Archangel Messages for a New Earth. And I have a new book coming out, Book Mastery, Write and Publish Your Book in 7 Easy Steps, coming out in October. And I've also created 15+ online courses working with light workers, spiritual business owners, and angel lovers all over the world. And I've trained, I'm a trained healer, coach, teacher. I have a degree in education and training for adults. I am Irish, as you can tell from my accent, but I live here in north of Italy, Lake Garda region, Lake Como region with my family. And I have a vision of light workers and healers sharing their knowledge and gifts with the world in a sustainable and profitable way. It is time for light workers to be unapologetic and make money from their gifts. So a little bit more, if you want some more details, holistic practitioner health, author, teacher, all my qualifications, and some lovely letters at the end of my name. So let's go back. Setting your intention, quick connection prayer. So we're going to just take 1 second, literally a minute. So what I want you to do is just take a breath with me. And I want you just, like I'm calling in your angels, I've called in my angels to help me make this presentation, make it clear, give you what you need today. But I would also love you to just take a minute and acknowledge yourself for showing up, and maybe just what is your intention for being here? What is the one thing that if you got out of this session today that would make a world of difference in your life? And I'd love you to pop that in the chat for me now. Is it more confidence? Is it just the belief that you can write a book? Is it the practicalities that you need? Is it the mindset work? Is it just to be in a community? Are you just beginning to allow this and you're just literally starting thinking about this idea of writing your book? And you're just looking for some inspiration, you're just exploring, you're just watching today. So what is it? What's your intention? What would you love to get out of this session today? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. So please just pop one word into the chat for me. So we'll do it together. We'll take a breath. If you can just, everybody can mute their microphones, that would be a fantastic support for me. So what I want you to do is just take a breath with me. And just drop down into your body. Just really drop down into your body. I know I'm quite up here now with all the thoughts and ideas and things I want to share. So I'm just dropping down into my heart, into my belly, into my feet for a moment. So just do that with me. Let's take another deep breath in. That's it. And just bring yourself fully present here and now. And take one more final breath in. And let that go. And I want you just to ask yourself, what's your intention? What do you want to get from this time that we have together? What do you need? What would you love to see? And take a minute and just pop that into the chat. Can you feel the difference in the energy? We're nice and settled now. I was a little bit hyper. That is my natural energy. I talk very quickly. Inspiration. I've written a book but struggled to finish it. Oh my God, this is great. We're going to get here. Love your mission, practicality and belief, inspiration. So Aideen, that's great. You're going to get some support with finishing that book here. That's what I think anyway. Inspiration, community and practicalities. Okay, brilliant. So there's a few practicalities there. So, can everybody see that bottom screen there? Yeah, okay, I'm going to keep going. So do you want to write a book? Yes, in the chat. Why, if you want. I'm guessing everybody's here for that. Have you been told that you have a book inside of you? Yes. Why? Who has had a dream since childhood of writing a book? Me, since I was about 8 years of age. I was telling people I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to be an author, I'm going to write this book. So yeah, if you've had a dream, you've been told that you want to write a book, or you just have this desire, then you are in the right place, my darling. Can we just do a little check-in for a moment? Because we're going to check in at the end of the masterclass, and I want to be able to see if there is any difference in this. So how confident are you right now today that you can write and publish a book? So when I say write, I mean finish. So completely write, finish, and publish an actual book. And if you can just tune into that for yourself now, where are you on a scale of 0 to 10? 10 being, or 0 or 1 being, I'm not confident at all, and 10 being, I am absolutely super duper confident that it's possible for me and I can write my book. So just choose a number and just let me see where you are. And just, we're going to keep note of that, because we're going to just remember it, so you can have that to have a look at that later on and see, has that moved or changed. So this is me. This is me. If you have a desire within you to write a book, then almost nothing compares to writing and publishing a book. And I just grabbed a few pictures. I wish I had more. I just didn't have time to pull them. But I have, this is me and my husband in Peru, in Machu Picchu. This is me and him in Lake Titicaca. I think it's in Ecuador. So Martina, if you can mute yourself, that would be a great help. Thanks very much. Thank you. This is, we lived for 2 years in a Brazilian paradise, Praia de Pipa, and this is a beach called Lake do Amor. So it's a love beach, and you can see that it's the beach, the waves came in the shape of a love heart. And this is me right now in up the road in Lake Como this summer. So I've had many experiences. I worked as a clown for 10 years. I lived in 5 different countries, lived and worked in 5 different countries. I have done pretty incredible and interesting things with my life, but nothing, and I mean nothing, apart from, okay, I'm going to take my marriage and my kids out of this because they are special moments that nothing compares to, but nothing, almost nothing compares to the joy. And I wish I had a picture here on the screen to show you. It was an awful picture in February 2020 when I published this book, not knowing that the world was going to go into lockdown 2 months later, 1 month later in Italy. But when I published this book and when I held it in my hands for the first time, the emotion, the sense of achievement, there's just been nothing like it. My kids still remember the moment. Do you remember your book arrived, Mom? And I took these, I was still in my house coat, in my pajamas, and my hair was all over the place. And I just took a photograph of me and I posted it on Facebook. The next time I do this presentation, I'll have the photo there. But it's just nothing compares. That doesn't mean this book is perfect. There's still spelling mistakes in it. I have a pen going through this one, like of all the things I want to change in this book. But it's a book. It's the first one I've published. It's the first one I wrote and published. And you know what? After I wrote it, I had this feeling of, oh my God, is that it? Is it that easy? What the hell was I procrastinating? What was I thinking for all of these years about how difficult it was going to be? And the process of actually writing that book and publishing it was very quick, and in the end quite easy. It was the mindset stuff that was the difficult piece. So why would you write a book? Meaningful impact. You can leave a legacy behind for your family, for the world, increase your expertise and credibility. It gives you an incredible confidence boost to say you're an author. I still get a buzz from it. You can leave a memoir if that's what you want. I've written self-help books and oracle cards, so more educational material so far. But you could write your memoir, and you could leave your, I will write my memoir someday, and it will be a gift for my family. It will be our history, a part of our history, or my memories of that. It can be a lead magnet if you're in business, a free gift that you can give your audience. You can create an ebook very quickly. It's a new skill that you can rinse and repeat, and it is a money-making asset. So if you have a business, writing a book is one of the most amazing things that you can do for yourself. And it is that book, literally Amazon sends me, puts money into my account every single month. Some months it's only €2, and some months it might be, maybe the biggest month I had was maybe €70 over the last 4 years. But altogether, I've probably made nearly €1,000 on that book, has just come in, passive income. Of course, I was working the initial work, writing the book, editing the book, publishing the book. But after that, it's just it's an asset. It's a passive income stream, and you can totally, like, I'm planning, and I hope that on the 4th anniversary next February I can relaunch that. I can revamp it change the things that I wanted to change and put it out there again. But it's a gift that never stops giving. So once you've written your book, so it's an asset. Okay, so we're going to dive into some mindset things here. So can I just check in and see how everybody is for a moment? Feeling I want to write a book. Okay, so there's a lot of several H. Oh, so it's very high. 6, 8, 1. Okay, 5, 3, 9, 3. Okay, so this is really good. This is really good. Okay, so we're gonna dive in, my darlings. I'm gonna take a little drink of water. If you have some water with you, take one too. And if you have any questions throughout this, you can pop them in the chat. And at the very end, I'm hoping to have time for Q&A. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have that I haven't answered already throughout the masterclass. Okay. So this is the first mindset thing. It will take time, but it's not as much time as you think. And you have probably wasted more time wondering and thinking and starting and not finishing and beating yourself up over it than it actually will to write your book. So it will take time, but definitely 100% not as much as you think. And there are hacks and tips and things that we can do that can make it really, really quick. And that can also help you when you start procrastinating. There's lots of things that we can do to help you to write your book. And the beautiful gift that I want to share, but most of you, if you have a spiritual business, will already know this. Batching is your new best friend. So batching is your new best friend. Doing the same task is faster than doing 3 different things. So I have this wonderful food, pictures of food. And I just because I do this, I batch cook at the weekends for the week. I make a load of things. I make, maybe it's a stew and a bolognese, and I get all of the ingredients and I have 2 pots going on the stove. And then when it's all cooked, leave it all cooking there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I put it all into containers and I freeze it up for the week for myself and my family. So I do this mostly at weekends so that it's there for the week. So if I'm in the middle of a launch or anything like that, I will batch cook. But I've also batched content. I've batched social media content where I've sat down and I've just created a big load of content in a few hours. When I'm creating my videos, angel messages, my weekly angel messages, I usually do about 6 of them at one time. So I'll create the videos. I have a Google Doc open. Take 5 minutes after the video to write down some notes. I take a picture of me holding the weekly cards. I add that into the Google Doc. I go on to the next video, shuffle the cards again, do another video. So why is that different to just doing things one by one, like maybe doing one video today, another video tomorrow, another video the next day? Because the setup time for each of those videos can be reduced, and you can do it just once. So in the example of my videos, for example, say I get all the clothes changes out of the wardrobe, I have them on the bed, so I literally have to put them on, you know, for each weekly video that I'm going to do. So I just change literally my top because it's live. I do my hair and makeup once. I get all the clothes out once. I set up the camera once. I batch, make sure the kids are all taken care of, and you know, somebody's minding them and looking after them, or they're in school and I have that time free and comfortable. I make sure I have tea, coffee, whatever I need. I make sure I have all of my materials here. I make sure I have good lighting. I'm in the perfect position. It's the perfect time of day. And then go for it. Bang, bang, bang out those videos. I once created a whole course, A to Z of Angels. I booked a hotel room and I recorded 26 videos in literally 24 hours. And that became a course. So it was batching is the fastest way that I know to do something. And it's much faster and much more productive use of my time, and I hope your time, than just doing one thing at a time. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on batching. If you have anything else that you want to share about that, if you have resistance to that, I'd love to hear it as well. I'd love to just know what you think about batching, or have you got this concept? Have I explained it well enough? Because it is, when we think things are going to take time, of course things are going to take time. But if we can use simple hacks, and one of them is batching, we can decrease the amount of time that we need to spend on something. Another thing is our focus. Okay, this is another mindset thing that we really need, or decision that we really need to make. Cut out your distractions. Turn off the phone. If I'm working on my videos, my phone's on airplane mode. My family know I'm recording. If anybody's here in the house and nobody comes near me, I give plenty of notice. I just do my very best. I don't answer any messages. I literally will cut out everything. So that's one thing, is just cut out distractions. So when you do have your dedicated writing time, to just cut out the distractions as much as you can. And there's software out there that I haven't used it, but there is software that you can literally put on your computer that will, for 1 hour, you won't be able to access Google or your email or anything like that. It literally blocks different applications on your computer so that you have just peace and quiet. And I just want you to consider, are you an early bird or a night owl? So when is the best time for you to focus? I'm an early bird. I have written all of my books early in the morning, getting up at 5 or 6. And I'm going to talk about that, so don't jump into It's just about finding the perfect time for you. For me, it is 1 hour between 6 and 7 of quiet before my family wake up, before the world wakes up, before I have to turn on my phone or answer emails or my assistant or anything else. That 1 hour in the morning is worth 3 in the afternoon, or in the evening, forget about it, it's worth 5, because I don't really function very well after about 8 o'clock. I can't really think. And I try not to do any client calls after about 5 o'clock. So the best time of day for me to be productive is in the morning. But I know a friend of mine, she's a complete night owl. So she does her best work in the evenings, in the dark hours. Once it goes past 9 o'clock, she is there and she's on fire and she's working away. So you need to figure out when is your most productive time, when is the best time for you to write. And that will save you time, and it will increase your focus as well. So a time when you're not going to be interrupted. Don't compete with multi-million-dollar marketing giants campaigns that are trained to grab your attention. So really, you can't compete with them. If you leave your phone on and it bing, 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 you're going to get distracted. I got lost the other day. I turned on my phone and a half an hour passed by and I was like, why am I fucking looking at Barbie videos? Scrolling through YouTube, Barbie shorts, Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie. I was like, and I lost a half an hour. I was like, oh, Jesus. So you just need to get those distractions out of your way. You're literally fighting against a multi-million-dollar advertising campaign designed to take your attention away from whatever it is that you want in your life. So take back your attention and create a schedule where you can have both, but understand that the default is designed to pull you back in. And I have this wonderful mantra that I use myself, and I got it from Marie Forleo, one of her emails. And she said, create before consume. And what she meant is that before she opens her emails in the mornings, she works on whatever she is bringing into the world. She puts her creative projects first, gives them priority over all the firefighting and all the stuff that comes with living a life that we all have. So I really try and take that on board, and I do my absolute best to create something in the first hour of the day, whether that's a book that I'm working on, do a bit of editing, do a bit of writing, or maybe it's an email series or whatever I'm working on in my business. That first hour of the day is for me and my creativity. And then I'll turn on the email, and then I'll start firefighting, and then I'll get the kids out for school, and then everything else. So that mantra might be useful for you as well. Create before consume. Can somebody give me a time check? What time is it? Let me know what time it is. Post in the chat there for me. So, commitment. So this is really important, okay? Like kids, work, parents, everything that we have on our schedules, divorce, career, marriage, separation, death of a loved one, college, life, starting a new business. Everybody on this call and watching this, whether you're watching it live or on the replay, you're in a different season of life. I don't know what your season of life is. You know, you don't know what my season of life is. I have teenagers. It is a teenager and a tween. This is 11 and 15. I'm in a completely different season of life than when I had a 2 and a 6-year-old. Completely different season of life. So, and completely different commitments, completely different time schedule. I did my degree when my youngest Emily was 2 years of age. I was in my my second year when she was born. And I remember my assignments, it was like, I have 10 hours in the next 3 weeks. That is all of the time I have. And I was working with some other people and they were like, have you done any? And I was like, I've only got 10 hours to do this assignment. And that is it. There's no other time. And this is the deadline. It's going in on that day. And it is not going to be 100%. But if I pass this thing, it will be an effing miracle. And I did pass and I got my degree, of course. But it's like, that would be a completely different experience for me now. You know, I would have it. I'm in a different season of life now. So some people, if everybody could mute themselves, that would be a great favor to me. So if you could just mute, Tracy, I think your mic is on, so just mute yourself, love. Thank you. So, and I want to just share a few of my favorite author stories. So J.K. Rowling, writing her book in a cafe, her son in the car beside her, her house was too cold, and she wrote the story of Harry Potter on a train, and then went into this cafe every other day and wrote her book. And she is now one of the best selling authors of all time, never mind women authors. And everybody here has seen a Harry Potter movie or has read a Harry Potter book. Maeve Binchy, her first bestseller, Write a Penny Candle. Oh, there's a typo here, so I mixed them up. She wrote that book. She had a very busy schedule. She was working for the Irish Times. She had a busy social life. So she literally had a trolley with her clickety-clackety typewriter and all her notes on this trolley, like a little food trolley or something. Had it underneath the stairs, and every morning for an hour would pull it out and write her book. And it took her 9 months to write her international best-selling book, Light a Penny Candle, it was called. And, you know, Maeve Binchy, the rest is history, has gone on to write multiple books. And one of my favorite writers, an Irish writer. Louise Hay wrote her first book as a pamphlet. She printed 500 of them and then went on to create Hay House at the age of 51. You know, launched Hay House. Her book, I wish I had it here. You Can Heal Your Life. The last count was something like 44 million copies and multiple languages around the world, that book. And it started off with her just printing a pamphlet of 500 copies. Marion Keyes still writes in bed. She says, I feel it feels too proper for me to have a desk. Maybe now that's changed. But the last time I read something about her, it was that she wrote everything in bed because it just felt too grand to say that she was an author, even though she is an international best-selling author. I love her work. And Lorna Byrne, Angels in My Hair, didn't actually write one single word of her book, physically write it. She recorded the whole book. She has some literacy difficulties, or had some, maybe she doesn't anymore. And she literally recorded the whole book through, before internet, we all have it on our phone, literally voice to text apps on our phone now. We have Google does it as well. Very easy to do it now. But she did it literally with some software on a computer that somebody had loaned her, and literally every day went out to a barn beside the house and spoke for an hour until her book was written. So it is totally possible to write a book on any schedule, but you also have to honor the schedule and the season of life that you're in. As I said, my story of writing my book, writing now, would be completely different to writing 10 years ago when my kids were a lot younger. It may be different again when my parents become aging parents, and that becomes a time in my life when I have to look after them. So it's really think about the season of life that you're in, and really bring a lot of forgiveness there, because a lot of times we beat ourselves up. Why haven't I written this book yet? Why can't I keep to the schedule? Why can't I, I'm not good enough and I can't do it, and you beat yourselves up. But sometimes, often it's about us not giving ourselves grace, and understanding the season of life that we're in, and saying maybe this isn't the best time to write the book. Or instead of saying I should have it written in 6 months, maybe just take a break and say, okay, what realistic time do I have this week? As an example of a week, do you have 5 hours this week to write your book? Could you find 5 hours? Could you stop watching Netflix for 5 hours this week, and that could be your book writing time? Could you get up a little bit earlier and write your book? Can you cut out distractions last thing at night and write your book there? Can you get the kids minded on a Saturday and write your book every Saturday for the next 52 weeks, and after a year it's done? Like, think about the season of life that you're in and adapt your schedule to that season. I hope this is helpful. I hope it's giving you some ahas. Love that Stephanie saying my daily is 3 pages of thoughts, morning pages. Love the morning pages, and 12-minute poem, which kickstarts my creativity for the day. Love that. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Great to get you in the zone. And another few things that I just keep in mind. Know thyself. Know what motivates you. I work well as a batcher. I work well doing things in an intense period of time. That suits my personality rather than over longer periods of time. My husband is more of a self-directed learner. So he starts at A and gets to B very easily on his own. I need to do things in intense. So this book, Angels Are With You, I wrote that over in August. I've written my other book over in August. My kids are off school. I usually take most of August off, or some of the summer off. And I get up early in the morning. I don't have to do school runs, and I literally write my book. And that's how I've written the last book. I wrote it through June, July, and August, and it's in the final draft now. So it's, figuring out your schedule, figuring out what motivates you, working your schedule around that. But also thinking, do you need accountability? Do you work better with accountability? As I said, my husband doesn't. I do. The first time I set up that book, I had a group of 4 other entrepreneurs, and we wrote together. So every morning we said, I'm here for my hour. I'm going to write for 1 hour. It didn't matter how many words or pages. And I'm going to write for 30 days. That was my goal. But I had that group to keep me accountable. You can get a buddy like I did, or you could hire a coach, or you could use a piece of software or program. A lot of people have like 10,000 steps. Maybe there might be something out there. I don't know. This just come to my head. Maybe there's something like 1,000 words a day, an app like that. And this is a really important concept. Done is better than perfect. Your first draft, I'm fucking telling you, is going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. I am the world's worst speller. My grammar isn't great either. My goal when I'm writing the first draft is to just get words on the page. It is the first terrible draft. That's what we're working on. The one thing that I see stops most people in writing is they're afraid to start that terrible draft. They're afraid to be terrible. And if you gave yourself permission right now to be awful, to be terrible, for this to be the worst draft in the world, done is better than perfect. Get it out there onto the page, into your Google Doc, on your computer, get it out onto the page. Then you can edit it. You're going to edit it once, you're going to edit it twice, you're going to edit it 3 times, you're going to edit it 4 times. That document, that manuscript is going to change so many times from that first horrible draft that you won't even know yourself. You look back and you'll be like, oh my God, look how far I've come. We refine it. And so your first draft is going to be terrible. So if you just allow yourself the grace of realizing that it's going to be terrible, I think that will motivate you just to get started. So done is better than perfect in my book. So we're going to get started into our 7 steps. And I just want to see, give me one word to let me know how this is. Me too, I work best doing it intensely. Yeah. So pop one word in the chat and just tell me what's your aha so far? What's landing? Have you got questions? I'll answer the questions at the end, but I just would love to hear what's coming up for you as I'm talking. I know this is meaty and I know we're covering a lot. So, okay, so we're going to dive into the 7 steps. Now, I think the 7 steps are easy. The 7 steps to write a book and publish a book are easy. It's these mindset things that I've just spoken about that can stop you from writing your book. So are we agreed, at least? Do you agree with the stuff that I've said so far? We talked about time, we talked about batching, we talked about commitment and adapting to your schedule. We talked about knowing yourself, understanding if you need accountability, how you work, the time of day you work best, knowing that your first draft is going to be awful and that done is better than perfect. So when you know all that, you know, if we're in agreement with all of that, the rest is easy because the rest are just steps that we need to take to get the book written. When you have figured out your schedule, you know when you write best, when is the optimal time for you to write. You've got that in your schedule, you've got that in your calendar, you know it's not going to be perfect, you have accountability or not, depending. The steps are easy. So we're going to dive into the steps. So the first step is brainstorming. For some of you, you'll already know what your idea is. And in for Aideen that was here earlier, Aideen said she already has written a book. She's just struggling to finish it. So I'm hoping that by the end of this, we might have given you some motivation to adapt your schedule, to figure out what's missing and get that book written, Aideen. But I'd love to, if you're still here at the end, would love to talk about that a bit more. But the first part is getting your ideas on paper. And it doesn't have to be the final idea. Brainstorming is one of the most amazing tools I've ever learned, which is basically just get a piece of paper and a pen and brainstorm all of the ideas. These steps, by the way, are all the steps in the book, my book that's coming out in October. And when it comes out, you're welcome to take it. And these steps, there's a whole chapter on each of these steps. So you literally have the step-by-step in your hands how to write this book. And there's going to be videos. I've done one video. There's going to be videos that you can link to show you some things that I mean, especially with the publishing process. But literally, you'll have all of these steps in the book. So we're just going to go brief this time. But unleash your ideas, brainstorm, find the perfect topic, discover your passions, unique perspectives that make your book stand out. So just an example of brainstorming. I discovered Tony Buznan years ago and mind mapping. And mind mapping is where you put your idea in the center. So it could be that you have in the center ideas for a book, okay? And branch out from those ideas all of the different ideas so it could be childhood milestones, okay? It could be milestones throughout your life. You could literally write different episodes, little notes about different episodes throughout your life. You could write, if you want to write a practical book, a self-help book, something that would help somebody. It could be, you know, ideas for that. If it's more educational, maybe it's oracle cards, maybe it's a process or something that you have. You can write all of the things that you want to fit into that process. But literally using this tool like mind mapping and brainstorming can help you to get the idea out of you onto the page. It doesn't have to be your final idea. This is a sparking exercise, so it's just to get you started. This is an example of a, now obviously I created this on Canva, so it's beautiful, but the page, I would have just used a piece of paper and just had a circle in the middle. Book, write and publish on Kindle. So that was the very first version of the book. And I literally flagged out, okay, these are the different things I want to cover. And then these are the things within. So this would be a great screenshot for you to grab right now. If you're on your computer or you're on your phone, it would be a wonderful screenshot. It's actually in the book, so you can see it there, but it would be a wonderful screenshot. And it's practically the 7 steps that I'm going to take you through. But this is an example of a mind map and just getting your ideas. And what I love about a mind map is that everything is on one page. So literally you have one page in front of you and everything that you possibly, so this is what I needed to include in the book, and it explains the process of writing and publishing your book. But for you, you could put your book idea in the middle, cookbook, create a cookbook for students. And you could literally have a getting started section, stock in your pantry, going shopping section. You could have making sure you have your core ingredients section. Then you could have your 10-minute recipes, 30-minute recipes, 1-hour recipes, and recipes to impress your friends, and quick on-the-go sandwiches and healthy meals. So you could literally write a book, bang, 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 using this template of a mind map. Mind mapping changed my life. Step 2, create an irresistible outline. Create a solid roadmap. So your roadmap can be your table of contents. That's the way I look at it. So my table of contents is usually is the map that I follow, but it's also it can be used as a table of contents. So you could look at it as your roadmap, as your blueprint, or as your table of contents, or as your outline for the book. But you start there. It is going to change. It is going to change as you write your book. There's very unlikely that it will stay the same. As I wrote my last book in the summer, that table of contents changed dramatically but at least I had the roadmap. At least I figured out where I was going. I knew the end result, and I made a plan about how to get there. So I did my mind map. I put all those headings into chapters, into chapter headings, into my content. And then I literally would take out one chapter and start working on that, would take out the next chapter, start working on that, and just wrote my draft like that. But it's like, if you imagine, it's like getting into a car without a GPS, without your GPS, without turning on the GPS, without deciding where you're going, you're not going to get anywhere. So your roadmap, your contents page is essential to getting you there. And then you can add, like this book that I wrote, it was supposed to be an ebook. It was supposed to be about a 70-page ebook, and it's now 250 pages, something like that at the moment. And it's definitely in the last stages of editing, and I'm hoping nothing else needs to go in. But as I wrote the book, as I did the outline and completed it and finished the first draft, and then went back maybe the third draft, I was like, actually, this needs to be in, that needs to be in, and just start adding content in. But you start with the outline. Step 3, how to write like a pro. Like literally, there are mindset tools, goal setting tools, productivity tools, books, learning your own rhythm, figuring out what works for you, what time of day works for you, and understanding yourself. Do you need accountability or not? And then there are so many techniques. There's the Pomodoro effect, which is literally you get yourself a timer and you set it for 30 minutes, and you literally write for those 30 minutes and then leave the room and go and do whatever you want to do. So you could do the same, write for an hour. There's so much software, and I haven't even included AI in this presentation because it's just a whole other, and it would have taken me too long to try and figure out how to add it in. But AI makes the beginning stages of a book if you treat like ChatGPT possibly as your book writing coach or assistant, it can help you generate ideas. It can help you overcome writer's block. So you're not staring at a blank page. You can literally put in an idea for a book that you have. Maybe it's childhood in Ireland during the famine. I'm just throwing something up there. And thinking of Light Penny Candle, which is a story about the famine. And you could literally go into ChatGPT and ask, okay, what are some ideas that I would need to cover in this book, from how would I start, how would I finish, and let it give you an outline for a book, or give you some ideas, or you can even ask it to give you ideas for a book for if you're a business coach. It could be a book of best business tips for entrepreneurs. And then obviously you take the information that ChatGPT gives you, and it just cuts through the beginning stages of, if you have trouble. I'm an ideas person, so I have 70 million ideas happening in my head all the time. So that's one of the things I love. But even for me, ChatGPT and using AI tools has helped me to just redefine some of the ideas, and even just quicken that ideas phase. So there are so many tools that we can use to increase productivity, save us time, and help us to overcome writer's block, and help us to set goals that are realistic as well, and help you to stay motivated. So the next, number 4, is polishing your manuscript. So obviously I've skipped over I'm hoping that for the purposes of this masterclass, that you're getting that it is possible to write a book. If you can figure out your schedule, if you can figure out that it is going to take you time, but not as much as you think, if you can just commit to whatever the minimum amount of time that you can commit to. Obviously, the more time you give, the quicker your book is going to be written, the first terrible draft. But it is totally possible. Like, I'm hoping that by now you're seeing how possible it is, and then we can use software, and that's even coming next, looking at polishing your manuscript. Editing and proofreading are essential for creating a professional book. And as I said, spelling and grammar are not my forte. There is a free application called Grammarly, and literally you can install that on your computer, and it has saved my life. It will correct your spelling as you're writing. If you're in a Google Doc, it will correct your spelling as you're writing, and correct your grammar and give you new suggestions. It's also, if you pay, there's a paid version, I think it's about $30. I usually pay for it when I want to polish my manuscript. So I paid for a month last month, just because I was in the almost the final editing stages, and I've stopped that for a month. I'm going to go back now next month and take it out again, pay for it again, and I will use it to polish my manuscript. But you can literally put your put portions of your book into Grammarly. It will suggest changes to your sentences. It will point out all the spelling mistakes, and it is really, really quick, really, really fast. For some of you that don't, and there's other AI tools, there's so many out there. I'm just, the ones that I've used. There's also tools that can help you with plagiarism. So to make sure that even if you're using, say, the likes of ChatGPT for ideas, that make sure that you're really polishing up those ideas, that you're really making them your own, you're adding your own voice, and you're using it as a tool to assist you in your writing, and make sure that it's yours in the end. But you can totally use Grammarly to check for plagiarism, which is where the work isn't your original work. So you can totally check for that in Grammarly. And just, you're going to hear me say this over and over again. DIY or hire someone to do it for you. Upwork, Fiverr.com. I use Fiverr all the time. Used it so many times. For cover design, for formatting, for proofreading. I have an editor on Fiverr. I paid her for the last rewrite of the book. For the last draft I gave her, I paid about 200 quid for her to proofread and format the book for me. Now it's come back and I've had to do another month of edits. I put it aside for a month and then now I'm going to go back to it next month. But you can totally DIY this yourself, or you can hand it out. You can hire somebody to do it on Fiverr, literally from $5 upwards. And obviously there are some editors and proofreaders up there. You can pay 1,000, but you can go somewhere in the middle, but it cost me about 200. And she's still around. That's including the final edit, which I give to her in the next few weeks. So, there's so much that we can do that will help us to polish our manuscripts, so we don't have to do that by ourselves. Step 5 is creating a book cover. So easy with Canva. I've just grabbed a picture off the internet there of different books. The Midnight Library, if you haven't read that, go and read it. It's an amazing book. The other ones I haven't read. It is so easy with Canva. It's the same thing again. Canva is free. You could buy the pro version when it's the month that you're going to write your book. I think it's $12. I pay $12. I have the pro version of Canva. It's about $12 a month. So you can totally, for that month where you're designing your book, pay the $12 and create your own cover design. Or you can take your $12 and go to Fiverr and get somebody to create a book cover for you. So totally DIY or hire somebody. It is very easy to do. Step 6, publish like a pro. Unlock the secrets of self-publishing, choosing the right platform to publish your book or ebook. Now, Amazon publishing. So we're going to talk about self-publishing in this. It's a whole other story to talk about going with a publisher and self-publishing. I'm talking about self-publishing. I think it is the easiest, fastest way to get your book online. And it is a stepping stone, and it gives you confidence, and it lets you see if there's an audience out there for your book. And it can be that you can go with your finished actual book and bring it to a publisher and say, and I know, like Denise Duffield Thomas self-published 3 of her books, Lucky Bitch, Get Rich Lucky Bitch, and Shillpreneur, I think, was published by Hay House. And then Hay House took the 3 books and published the whole 3 of them. So it was her 3rd book, I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong on this, but I think it was her 3rd book when Hay House took all of the books and republished them. So it is totally possible for you to get published. Like I literally could, I think within 6 months. This book was published within 6 months. It was written and published within 6 months. And that was uploaded to Amazon for sale, and people could buy the book. I had the cover done, I had the formatting done, and it was in Kindle and paperback version. I did it all myself. I didn't pay anybody to do it back there. I think it was only the cover design and when I made this, I did it completely myself, and I did it all in 6 months. Sorry, I'm thinking I didn't hire anybody. My husband did the cover for me. That's what it was. But everything else I did myself. Amazon has a full tutorial suite for authors. It is free to set up your author platform. It is free to upload a book. It will not cost you a cent to upload your book onto Amazon and to have it there available for sale. It's absolutely a fantastic free resource. I couldn't believe how easy it was when I finally got to that stage of, okay, I'm ready to publish this book. And you can publish your book on Amazon and you can have it available for pre-orders, which is what I will do for the next book. It will be released in October. It will be published in October. But in the next few weeks, you're going to see my new book is out and available for pre-order. And you can start collecting pre-orders for that book. And also, it's really good to maybe have a pre-order system for at least 30 days. And it just helps the algorithm as people start to buy your book. Amazon will send more of those type of people to buy that book. So if you're writing a book for business owners, for example, as you start to send it out to your community of business owners, maybe out there, and they start to buy the book, Amazon takes note of the person that's buying the book, their location, their interests, and everything else. and the algorithm starts to make a picture of who this book could be suitable for, and we'll start to share that book out into the world with those people. So it's a really good, that's a little hack about having a 30-day, if possible, pre-order window, and it just supports you and the algorithm. That's maybe a little bit more advanced, and it's really for those of you that have a business and you're using the book as a business asset. And DIY or hire somebody. You can hire someone to do all this. You could hire someone to, I'm just thinking now, I told a fib there, I said I did it all myself. The paperback, I was able to do myself. My husband did the cover. The formatting for the Kindle version, I paid somebody $50 on Fiverr to do that for me. So I literally gave them the paperback version, and they turned it into what's called a Moby doc for Amazon. They gave it back to me, and I just uploaded it, and it was done in like literally a few days. They literally came back with the doc, and I just uploaded that. So it's very easy to, any of the bits that you can't do yourself, it's just very simply to hire somebody else. But it is easier now even than that was 4 years ago. I had a look there recently. It's easier to create a Moby doc, and it's actually Google Docs does it now. It gives you that, you can download it in Word doc, PDF, and there's also, if you scroll down there, it says something like EPUB, which is a Kindle version for your book. So you can it's easier now even to do it yourself. But any part of that, you can get somebody else to do it. DIY or hire someone to do it for you. The final step is about promotion and launch. So this is, having a book launch and inviting all your friends and family. Maeve Binchy, I loved this story. It was one of her books on how to write a book. And she said that when she wrote Light a Penny Candle, her motivation was she could see in her mind's eye she was going to throw a big, huge party and invite all of her family and friends and have champagne and read from her book and just have an absolute party. And she said that kept her going through. It wasn't really for the money. She didn't think she was going to make any money out of it, but it was just, this story was inside of her, this desire to be a writer. And she just shared that. My dog is trying to get in, that's why I got distracted. He usually comes in about now for a nap under the bed, and I'm in the bedroom. My office is too warm, it's too hot now in Italy at the moment. So got distracted for a moment there. But Maeve Binchy, yes, she said that was what she held in her head, was this idea that she was going to have a big party at the end of it. But you can totally have an online book launch, or you can have an in-person book launch. That depends on your budget. And also who you want to reach. Maybe you're a coach and you have an international audience, so it would make sense to have an online book launch. But maybe you would just love to be in a room with family and friends and people that want to read your book, and you want to throw in a local bar or pub and launch your book that way. Or maybe you can have both. But it's about, and DIY or hire somebody here. You can totally pay for ads as well on Amazon to send people to your book. I am not an expert on that. I haven't figured that out myself yet, so I can't give you advice on that, but I know it's a possibility. You can hire somebody to help you with that. It depends on your budget and what you're willing to put in. But if you have an audience already, all of us have an audience already, but if you have a business audience already, you could, and in my book, there's a step-by-step, there's a full, I think it's a 3-week promote and launch plan. So you have everything there that you need, but you could literally work backwards on this. You could say, okay, the launch date is here. What are the things that I need to have in place? If it's online, I need to make sure I have a Zoom account. I need to create some graphics on Canva, create some text to let people know. I need to create a countdown. I need to schedule some posts on social media. I need to maybe do a video about the book. I need to get a printed copy myself and maybe read excerpts from it for 7 days, whatever it's going to be. And all of those pieces are going to be sending people to the pre-order page on Amazon to go and order the book for themselves before I would recommend that you have the book available before a launch. I think the launch can be an event on its own. to get more sales, get more people to buy your book. But the whole launch process coming up to when your book is finally released and available for order. The beautiful thing is, I just found this fascinating. So you can upload to Kindle a draft of your book and a cover of your book, and you can put the pre-orders. And then before your book is published, you can be editing in the background, and then you can literally upload a new document of the finished book up. So you could be having pre-orders before your book is actually written. You can be editing your book while the pre-orders are coming in for that book. And another beautiful thing about Kindle is that when people press pre-order, on the day that it's published, the book arrives in their Kindle. But if after a month you realize, oh my God, I made a big, huge typo, or I forgot this piece, or there's a link or a URL or something is wrong or whatever, and it needs to be changed urgently, you can just edit, change it, upload it to Kindle, and everybody who's bought the Kindle version of your book automatically gets the new version. I mean, I just think that's mind-blowing. So even if somebody bought your book a year ago and you update it today, they will, when they open their Kindle, they will get the new version of that book. Of course, you can relaunch your book as a whole updated version, as a second product, if you want to do that. But you can also, if it's a minor little changes and pieces that you want to add in, you can upload, and your audience will automatically get the new version of that. I just think that's amazing, a fantastic resource. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, I should have written it down. Something came in there. Okay, it might come back to me. So, you know, that's the whole rah-rah about promoting and launching your book. And again, you can DIY this, or you can hire somebody to do it. Maybe you can even talk to somebody that's already done this and ask them for advice or guidance. Or you can hire a book coach, someone to help you with this whole promotion and launch stage. Again, that depends on your budget and what you want. So just and breathe. And breathe. You don't have to know how to, or that's a complete typo. You don't have to know everything, or you don't have to know how to do everything. Each step of the way of this process, you can choose to DIY it, or you can hire someone to help you. So that is that you can record your message, you can hand a transcript of your message to somebody. You could literally record, I could literally take this recording and send it to a transcriber, or even use a piece of software. It would completely put it into text, and I could, send that to an editor or a ghostwriter even, and ask them to create a book out of that. Ghostwriter is a whole other thing that we're not going to cover in this masterclass, but it's a whole other area where you can literally pay somebody. You can give them the concept and the outline of your book, and they can write the book. A lot of celebrities, apparently, I don't know how true this is, but Will Smith, his book was written by a ghostwriter. I heard that somewhere. I can't say it 100%, but that's what I heard, and I just thought that is so fascinating. And it's become a bestseller, and but did he actually write it, or did a ghostwriter write that? And that's a whole other, you can totally write your own book, or you could, if it's just a concept or an idea that you want to get out there and you want to get out fast, and you haven't got the time, but you have some money, you can hire a ghostwriter for about 800 quid to write a book for you if you wanted to, or a manual or an ebook or a full book or whatever. But the beauty of this is that you don't have to know how, and you don't have to do this on your own. So just a quick check-in. Let me know how you're feeling now. I know that was an awful lot that we've covered, but just let me know how you're feeling on a scale of 1 to 10. How confident are you right now that you could write and publish a book? I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow. The steps are easy. And if whatever you can't do, you could hire someone else to do it. So just give me a number on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, just taking into account how you were at the beginning. How are you feeling now about writing your book? How are you feeling now about writing your book? Where are you on that scale? Has have your thoughts changed around it? Is just let me see if there's an improvement there. I would love to know. Okay, so 9 to 10, up. I think Tracy was a 1 and she's gone to 4 to 5, feeling excited. 10, 10, 10, 9 to 10, 8. Look at this. Fantastic. Absolutely. So I'm fucking over the moon. This is still freaking out, but hey, yes, exactly. It's not it's possible. At least you can see the possibilities now. At least you're motivated to give it a go. At least if you said to yourself, okay, 6 months time, I could have a book up there and published and online. And if you could get together a small little budget, maybe 500 quid, you could even quicken the process a little bit more and call in some help and support. So I'm thrilled. That's the purpose of this. So I'm absolutely thrilled about that. Okay, so this is my invitation. This is the presentation is more or less finished here. And I'm just going to talk to you about, so this is about you writing your own book. But I have, and most of you will know this if you're on my email list or you were introduced to this webinar, you've been hearing me speak about this, but I have a book collaboration. It is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So it's a bit scary, it's a bit exciting. There are 44 light workers coming together. 4 places are already booked. And my question to you is, would you like to co-author a book with me? And what that means is you can take a chapter from this book. This is a mock-up of the cover. It will probably change. The title will change. The tagline will change, but it's an example to give you of what it could look like. I created this on Canva in about 30 minutes, compiled by Aishling Mooney using the pro version of Canva. But it's probably not going to be the finished book cover of the book. But just to give you an example, 44 light workers, spiritual entrepreneurs sharing their stories, secrets and wisdom to create abundance in life and business. And it's going to be published early 2024. And for each of the authors, we'll take between 3 and 5 pages from the book and we'll share an inspirational story from your life. And that could be, the idea is, what's a wealthy life? So how have you created a rich life? It could be a process that you've stumbled upon or created yourself, or it could be something that's happened to you. Like when I think of me 5 years ago, living in Ireland and not very happy and deciding in a heartbeat, literally we decided in May and we were here living in Italy in August. And it's taken 5 years, but literally this summer, I was thinking, I'm living the Dolce Vita. I'm living the life that I dreamed of 5 years ago. Doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean it wasn't without challenges. There were a lot of challenges on the way, very unexpected ones, to do with us settling in, bringing a young family of kids and learning a new language and, me transforming my business and tax system and the bureaucracy and just managing living here. There was a lot in it, but there's a whole just beautiful story in there of me just waking up and realizing I'm actually living the dream. I'm living the dream that I had 5 years ago when I was looking out at the rain in Ireland and thinking, oh Jesus, this is, and it's not just the weather. There was a lot of other factors that I was unhappy, and now we managed to transform. And as I said, it's not without challenges. So I don't want to be the fucking Facebook, Instagram, everything's rosy and give you the highlight reel. But it is truly a story I'd love to share of just how things are possible and that we can change our lives in a heartbeat and look back and finally be living the dream that we once had. But it could be for you a health issue that you've overcome. It could be how you cleared debt out of your life and have got into abundance. It could be how you started your business. It could be how you overcame separation and divorce. It could be coming through and dealing with grief and transforming your life, maybe after the death of a loved one. And I want this to be a book of inspiring stories. For everybody that picks it up. I want it to be a book when you open it, you can open it randomly at any page and start reading an inspiring, motivating story that will just lift you up no matter what's going on in your life. So that is the goal. If you're you're thinking maybe that's you, you'd like to co-author with me, go to aishlingmooney.com and /SM. I'm going to give you just a little bit more detail. So this is a Spiritual Millions, the book, part of an extraordinary collaboration, calling all spiritual entrepreneurs, intuitives, therapists, coaches, healers, heart-centered business owners, because that is my audience. That is the people that are in our angel community. So that's who I'm calling to write with me. That's who I want to spend time with. It's going to be an 8-month project, but there will be 8 weeks of intensive group coaching starting in probably at the beginning of October. We opened doors last week in September, but realistically it will be October before we dive into our book. So October, November, in time for Christmas, we will all have our chapters written. We will get them edited. We will coach you every single step of the way in that process. I'll bring you through all the steps. I will show you everything, give you all my writing hacks, everything that you need. I'm also including a one-to-one coaching call worth €500 for everyone that signs up. An amazing Facebook community that we'll manage and host for you to meet like-minded authors. Course curriculum with everything that is basically from the book and that we've talked about in this masterclass. Full proofreading, editing, cover creation service, book launch and marketing bundle. And the beauty of creating something like a book like this, a compilation with 44 authors, is that it's almost, I can't guarantee, but it is almost guaranteed to be a bestseller. There are ways that you can create a bestseller by launching on one day, by doing a whole pre-launch and getting everybody, families, friends, everybody to just press buy on the same day. And you can literally go to become an Amazon bestseller. So there's a lot of strategy around that, placing the book in certain categories and using keywords and things, but we will do all of that. And there's a very good chance that we could be part of a best-selling book on Amazon within the next 6 to 8 months. So if that is you, it is a total value of $4,777, and I forgot to put the actual price. The actual price is $497. So for 500 quid, you can take part in this. You can be one of the authors in this book collaboration. And for the first 10 people, 4 places are already gone, so there's about 6 left. The first 10 people to sign up for this book collaboration will get an extra one-to-one call with me. So an extra to support you on your journey. So I guess the first call is going to be in the first month or so to get people if they're a bit stuck, any part of the process. And then the second call can be for whatever you want. It can be to support you in your book, but it could also be, I'm a coach. I work with people all over the world, light workers all over the world, and happy to support you to build and grow your spiritual business if that's what you want as well. But you get an extra call in there, the first 10 people to sign up. And the link again is aishlingmooney.com /SM book. And if you have any questions or you sign up while we're on the call, let me know in the chat. I would love, or if you've already signed up and you're watching this, I would love to know. Let me know. Just take a minute now and let me know what's your biggest takeaway, your biggest aha from this masterclass. My biggest aha is that it works. I can see literally in the numbers that you shared with me, the check-in that we did, where you were at the beginning and where you are now. So I'm thrilled that this because this was what I wanted it to give you, but I'm thrilled that it has really helped you to see that it is possible for you to write a book, and it's possible very, very quickly, and even faster if you want to collaborate with me on my next adventure. But I'd love to hear what your takeaways are. So if you could post them in the chat now, that would be fantastic. I'm in. Fantastic. Looking for an opportunity. I'll go and get the link. Fantastic. Well done, Stephanie. Love to have you there. Could you elaborate on the name Spiritual Millions? Sounds author. Have to head off now. Thank you, my darling. Okay, and if anyone has questions and you want to talk to me about it, just send me a PM on Facebook or email me after this and just say, Aishling, I want to chat about it. Expand on the name Spiritual Millions. Stephanie, I'm just so delighted that you're in. I love it. Can you elaborate on the name? So the name Spiritual Millions came from, I host an event for charity every year, and it's called the Angel Cafe. And it's usually a healing event. When COVID happened, I hosted a new kind of event, and it was specifically for spiritual entrepreneurs. And it's literally pulling together a number of speakers. It's usually 33 speakers, 22, 33, 44 speakers together to talk on a subject. Generally, it's healing. But after COVID, with so many people losing their jobs, losing their livelihood, not being able to work, not being able to leave their houses, entrepreneurs having to pivot and get online quickly, I put together an Angel Cafe, an impromptu Angel Cafe, pulled together all of the friends, coaches, everybody that I knew in the industry to create an event that would help people to make money, help people to pivot, give them the skills. So it was an event specifically for spiritual entrepreneurs. It was there was book writing, there was social media, there was website design, there was public speaking, there was healing your mindset, there was coaches, business coaches, all sorts of coaches and healers that came together for this event. And we've run that now for 3 years, that event, and the name of it is Spiritual Millions. And when I came to think about a book collaboration, I have lots of ideas for book collaborations, but I thought, what would be most useful now to my audience? And yes, stories of inspiration, stories to motivate and lift people up. But I also think that abundance is, it's just really, really important. I know that when women in particular or light workers make enough money for themselves and their families to pay their bills, pay the mortgage, look after their kids, put the kids through college, look after their families and their legacy, that they will give back. So it's not about putting, money is just money. But if we can put more money into the hands of spiritual entrepreneurs, heart-centered leaders and coaches, they're the ones that are going to do the best with that money and make the biggest difference in the world. So my idea is, it's about a rich life. So there's sort of two concepts. One is, what's a rich life? So you can talk about some aspect of your life that is, like I gave you the example of me living the Dolce Vita. That decision that we made has improved and enriched my life in so many areas. Financially, it's only one area, but making the decision, and in hindsight now, I have this whole story to tell, and it's like, it's not all rosy in the garden when you decide to move country. There's a lot in it, but it will eventually. If I can inspire people to say, look, do it. It's not going to be without challenges, but when you get to the end of it, maybe in a few years' time, you look back and go, oh my God, that was the best decision I ever made for me and for my family. So that's a story about a rich life. But there are also going to be stories in here from spiritual entrepreneurs that have processes or key things about their business that helped and supported them to make a lot of money. And that can be in this book as well. So it's sort of two aspects of the same coin. So that's where Spiritual Millions, in that it's spiritual stories, it's stories of light workers and spiritual entrepreneurs that will be mainly the writers of this book. So I hope that answers the question. Sarah, if you have any more questions around that, you can post it in the chat now. I think being pregnant, I need to give myself the grace that my season of life will change in December. Oh my God, totally, darling. And Bridge, and yeah, brilliant. Yes, totally look at the season of life that you're in. For example, in the past, I would have had someone try to sign up to maybe one of my programs when I was teaching the Abundant Heart live for light workers, which is to help you to get your business online. One girl in particular was pregnant. I said to her, just go. First of all, you're growing a baby, and then you're going to have a baby and this whole massive transition in your life. This is not the time. Starting a business is not, in my opinion, easy. It is not easy starting a business. So definitely being aware of the season of life that you're in can help you to just have some grace with yourself. Isn't that just a lovely phrase? Having grace, giving yourself some grace and just understanding where you are in your life. So that is it, my darlings. Are there any questions? Have you any questions that you would like to, would anyone like to come on and say hello? Has anyone got a question? Would you like to ask me personally? I'm opening the floor now for 10 minutes. If you would like to, you'd like to ask me a question directly, or you can post it in the chat. I'm going to hang on here for a few minutes and I'm available to answer your questions. If anyone signs up while we're on the call and you grab that extra one-to-one with me, do let me know. I would be absolutely thrilled to have you as part of this. You're very, very welcome. So excited to get involved. Absolutely. And if you know anyone that this is a fit for, please share it with them. There will be a replay available and I'll probably host it live again, just because it's the first time hosting it. So there's a few slides, there's a few mistakes that I'll fix. And just let me know as well. Give me some feedback about the whole presentation. Let me know how you are. Give me maybe one word to let me know how you're feeling right now. You know, how was this presentation? Was it clear? Were there gaps? Do you still have questions? I know I didn't cover the publishing versus self-publishing, and I didn't go into AI too much, so they might be gaps that maybe I could create separate trainings on if you were interested. Or is there any information that you're missing that I didn't answer? I would be happy to answer it now in the next 5 minutes. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write in the chat. And while we're doing that, I'm going to pick a final angel card. I'm going to pick a final angel card for us. Thank you so much, everybody that stayed until the end. I really appreciate every single one of you. I really, really do. Thank you, Aishling. Hi, Martina, love. I'll sit down and see what, yes, exactly. I forgot to say that. That's another slide. Presentation was very clear, feeling empowered and excited. That's a really important point. Make sure that you take some time afterwards, whether it's right after this or later on today, where you sit down and you know, any insights, any ideas that have come down, get them down on paper. So I'm going to pick a final angel. Oh my God, look at this. There's a guy reading a book. Look at this, reading a book, and he's not in a library. He should actually be in a library. But this is a beautiful book, and it's Archangel Jeremiah. It's number 14 in the deck, and it's learn from the past and release ancestral karma. But if we just take the image of this book, and if you think about the Akashic Records, the Akashic Records is a place in the ethers, which is a vast library of every second. Everybody has their own book up there of their lifetime and lifetimes. And you can go and access your Akashic Records. In one of my courses, I bring you through in meditation to meet Jeremiah and access your records. But this card is just a reminder that at the moment, your book is an idea inside your mind, inside your heart, or maybe you've started to write it, and maybe you're even nearly finished it. Some of our authors here that joined us today. But it's like, what I'd love you to do is just think about what will it be like with that book in your hand. I said, there is nothing, almost nothing in my life that compares with that. I wish I had the picture to show you of me holding that book and taking a photo of myself with that, the essence, the energy, the confidence, the joy, the sense of achievement, the fulfillment. And, you know, look at this picture of this angel just sitting, and just, I want you to just drop into that for a moment. Really sit in and think about, what would it feel like? What would the day be like when you are holding your book in your hand? I believe in you. It is totally possible. It is I just signed up. Brilliant. Well done, darling. Fantastic. motivated, been procrastinating, but I'm inspired now to keep going. Okay, my darlings, feel empowered and excited. Okay, my darlings, I believe in you. I know you can do it. And I cannot wait to see your books out in the world. This time next year, I'm going to be holding some of your books in my hand. And if you join me in the book collaboration, I'm definitely going to be holding a book with your name, co-authoring that book with me. Loads of love, my darlings. I'm here. If you want to have any questions, just send me a PM or send me an email, and I would be happy to have a chat, jump on a call, and see how I can serve you. But I would just be thrilled to see you as part of this collaboration. And that is it. Let me see if I can stop sharing. Here we are. Loads of love, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. And please share with anyone that you know that could make use of this. Loads of love. Bye.